and Maggie Doyle.
It's all here. Good morning, you're very welcome to the programme. It's the last day of the week for us before we break up for our Easter break. We're asking you this morning about things that you have a lot of. Not necessarily things that you've meant to collect, but just things that you seem to have a lot of. I have a lot of nail varnishes in all different colours. John has a lot of sieves, because he's a food snob. Eileen in Kennington has texted us. She says, I've got over 100 fridge magnets.
Wow.
And hundreds of buttons. Presumably they're all stuck on the fridge.
Can you see the
magnets.
fridge?
Yeah, I was going to say. Eileen, thank you for that. Keep them coming this morning. We'd love to hear what you've got a lot of. 03459 811111.
Nearly 7 minutes past 8. Very good morning to you. Now, the BBC's discovered that many immigration enforcement raids in Kent are failing to result in any arrests. New figures show that between 2011 and 2015, in more than half of all raids carried out, no one was detained. But the Home Office says its intelligence-led approach is working. Here's a takeaway owner whose business has been raided twice.
The first time I told them that the person's non-existent, and the second time round they come looking for exactly the same person again. They didn't find anything. Again, they didn't find anything because we have no one that's illegal, working here illegally or anything like that. And so I don't know what intelligence they're going on.
Well, joining me now is Keith Faz, Chair of the Home Affairs Select Committee, and Diane James, UKIP MEP for the South East. Morning to you both. Keith Faz, if I could start with you. Good morning.
Good morning, John.
It does seem, I do question whether the intelligence that the authorities are getting is good enough if over half the time nobody is detained.
Well, I agree with you, and the Select Committee has on a number of occasions pointed out that we are concerned not just about the numbers of people detained, but at the end of the day, the numbers of people removed. There is no point in detaining, and therefore the taxpayer having to pay for this. And at the end of the day, nobody gets arrested, charged and sent out of the country.
It's a problem, though, isn't it? Because one, you've got to find out where they've come from originally, and two, you have to have an agreement with that country to send them back.
Well, of course, and that's what the Home Secretary said on Tuesday, but we're not convinced about this, because if you look at the top three countries, take foreign national prisoners, this is not about people being detained, but people who have actually gone to jail. The top three countries include 3 countries from the EU, and therefore, why are we not able to tell countries like Poland and Ireland, and indeed Commonwealth countries like Jamaica, that they should take their own citizens back? But, you know, if you also look at the report published today from the Chief Inspector of Borders that says that 40% of removals are cancelled at the last minute, you will note there is a real problem with enforcement on the part of the Home Office. It's not a willingness of ministers. They want to obviously get people out as soon as possible. There seems to be a failure in the system to deliver on this and actually get people out. The problem with raids is, of course, it causes massive disruption to people who are carrying out their business in a law-abiding fashion.
And the problem, it seems to me that what might be happening here, if the intelligence is coming from the public, without putting too fine a point on it, the public goes into a restaurant, maybe, sees people they don't particularly believe are English or British, and they ring up the authorities, and that's basically a racist thing, isn't it? I mean, if you see somebody who's not white and you say, well, they can't be British.
Well, we don't know who they're ringing up about, so I'm not sure the issue of race comes into it at the moment. The issue is this. We are concerned that when people legitimately complain about people who are in this country, I as a constituency MP have people coming in every single week saying, we know this person is here illegally. I know it because I married this person and I want them out of the country. The marriage has broken down. Please get them out. Yeah. We write numerous letters and the person remains for years and years. So instead of using the resources in doing these dramatic raids that produce so little results, they should be at our borders. They should be making sure people who have committed these offences are removed from the country.
And can you tell us what happens to these people? If they are found to be here illegally and we are struggling to deport them, what happens to them? Are they detained? Are they let back into society? Can they work? What is the situation?
Well, some are detained, and you and I and the taxpayers of Kent have to pay up to £21,000 a year to keep them in detention, or they're let into the community. And that is the problem. You go through this entire criminal justice system, and right at the end, you just let people remain in the community. And that is the problem with the way in which we have enforcement by the Home Office, and it just has got to improve. We've been saying this month after month, year after year. Ministers have just got to get the message. This is just not good enough.
Okay, let's bring in Diane James, UKIP MEP for the South East. Diane, good morning to you. What do you make of these figures?
Well, first of all, the problem stems from the aspect of people smuggling, which is a business now worth $4.6 billion in 2015 alone. So this is an organisation, if you like, probably multifaceted with lots of bits and pieces, but intent on getting as many people ultimately into the UK as possible. Because our own, as in the United Kingdom, border system is quite frankly so depleted and in such disarray.
Well, hang on. Let me just pull you up on that, because the only way you can, if you look at the papers today, there are 2 cases in Kent with people jumping out the backs of lorries who shouldn't be here. But unless you stop, and are you saying that's what you want? Unless you stop every lorry in Calais, open it up and search it, you're never going to stop that, are you?
Well, we've only got, I mean, I'm glad you picked up on this specific point. We are only scanning 10% of HGVs. We're not even, that is absolutely pitiful.
How many would you like to stop?
Well, I'd like to stop 100%. There's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't.
But have you got any idea what chaos that would cause?
No, I mean, think outside the box. This is the problem. We've got technology available. There's no issue with that. We have a French counterpart in Calais that, according to some information that I received relatively recently, they are stopping the United Kingdom scanning a much higher proportion of the HGV traffic. Now, bear in mind...
What the French are telling them we can't do it.
No, excuse me, let me just finish. If we coupled what we believe we have in terms of intelligence with actually targeted scanning rather than 10% random scanning, we might stand a much better chance of actually getting hold of some of these people before they've made it into the United Kingdom.
You're really suggesting there that these lorry drivers know that these people are in the back of their trucks and therefore you can target them?
No, not necessarily. We've heard lots and lots of instances where lorry drivers have arrived, and they have been as surprised as anybody when individuals have leapt out of the back of their lorries or their cargo sections, Clackett Lane, wherever it might be, in Kent and in the surrounding counties. The issue is, if we are to believe what national government is telling us at the moment, that it's got to be an intelligence-led approach rather than what I believe is a resource-led approach or a coupling of the two, this problem is not going to be solved.
Okay, let me ask you this question, because you are from UKIP, and therefore we know that you would like to get out of the European Union.
Yep.
That wouldn't solve this problem at all, would it?
Yes, it...
How would it?
Well, the key point. I'm somewhat surprised at your question.
Well, because these people are illegal immigrants. They're not from the European Union. They're being smuggled, as you said, across Europe. It wouldn't make any difference if we were out the EU.
It would make a huge difference. We cannot at the moment control our borders. It's statement of fact. Simple as that.
Well, we do control the border at Calais.
We don't. All right, you've just mentioned Calais. We are unable to control at the moment what's called small maritime traffic. There was a classic in the last few weeks where an individual managed to bring into Cuxton Marina an arms cache. That could well have been accompanied by individuals. We've got no idea whether they were involved or not. But the issue there is we are not scanning every single port of entry, every small airfield, every small port. But
they're very small numbers. The big numbers are coming through Calais. Come on, we know that.
No, I don't. I'm sorry, I disagree entirely. We've got issues with Dunkirk. We've got issues already with traffic.
All right, they're coming from Europe. Getting out of the European Union would not change that.
Yes, it would change that, because we then do not have to adhere to European Union rules in terms of border control and all of the aspects in terms of people traffic.
I'm going to bring Keith Vaz back in. Keith Vaz, do you think it will make any difference, as a matter of interest, if we were outside of the EU?
Yes, I think it will make a huge difference. I understand the points that Diane is making. She's right. There needs to be better cooperation. But imagine if we came out. The ability of our former partners to try and help us with disappear, they would not want to help us at all. At the moment...
you think make it worse? You think it will make it worse?
It would be much worse, because in order to control our borders, we do need the support of EU colleagues. Actually, we need them to do better than they're doing at the moment.
But they might do that anyway. We may have an agreement.
I'm not sure they will.
Well, we don't know, do we?
No, but I'm telling you what human nature will do. They will be less interested in helping a country that is not part of the EU, and it will cause enormous problems for us. The situation will get much worse.
Before you go, can I just ask you, have you seen the papers today? There's pictures of migrants jumping out of the back of lorries in Canterbury and in Dartford. Do you have a view on that? I mean, it's not slowing down, is it?
It's not slowing down. It's deeply disturbing. Diane is right. These are organised criminals who are involved in these activities. My worry is not just the migrant implications, but also the security implications. We need robust borders. After what has happened in Brussels, I think we need to take the Home Secretary at her word. We need to ramp up our security at our borders. We need the French and the Belgians and the Dutch to also do their bit at their borders, because it is absolutely vital to ensure that this happens. At the moment, it is a big worry, not just on the migration point of view, but also as far as security is concerned. The internal borders of the EU, of course, they don't exist within the Schengen area. The external border with Greece, where people are returning after fighting in Syria, this is the big concern for us, especially over this weekend.
Keith Vaz, thank you very much indeed. Keith Vaz on the Home Affairs Select Committee. We also heard from Diane James from UKIP MEP for the South East on the fact that the raids on premises that might be employing illegal immigrants in this country, only half of them result in any arrests.
You're listening to BBC Radio Kent Breakfast with